Venezuelan government activated on Monday the Son of Peace #1 in the states of Táchira and Zulia along the Colombian border to fight organized crime and tackle drug trafficking. The United States government is threatening to increase its military presence in cities led by Democrats. An Israeli attack on Nasser hospital in southern Gaza Strip killed 5 journalists while they were broadcasting live, bringing the number of media workers killed by Israel to 245. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin the news. The Venezuelan government activated on Monday the Son of Peace #1 in the state of Táchira and Zulia along the Colombian border to fight organized crime and tackle drug trafficking routes. During a press conference, the Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace of Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, unveiled President Nicolás Maduro had ordered the activation together with a large operation of reinforcement of the ongoing crime-fighting operations in border regions. The deployment, which is already underway, includes 15,000 men as well as aviation and fluvial equipment. In this regard, Cabello stressed Venezuela is answering in force to those intending to enter drugs to the territory, effectively seizing 32,769 kilos so far this year. In this context, he asked the Colombian government to do the same to ensure peace and halt criminal operations in the border area. We don't sell any kind of drugs here. That report also says that Venezuela is free of any laboratories, which means that Venezuela does not process any kind of drug from the harvest to the final product for the final consumption. The UN report also says that traffic through Venezuela is also very, very limited, which are the 3 conditions to consider if there is drug trafficking in a country. In this context, the Minister of the Interior of Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, announced the activation of the Son of Peace #1 in the states of Táchira and Zulia in a coordinated effort with the Colombian state. So we asked the Colombian government, with whom we have been cooperating, that we call on them to do the same on the Colombian side, to safeguard peace in the area, to evict those that want to settle there to commit crimes in the border area. This announcement, without doubt, will have an impact on peace and security, and peace is the main principle of Venezuelans. And the Venezuelan people enlisted en masse and voluntarily in the Bolivarian National Militia, responding to President Nicolás Maduro's call to defend the country from a possible United States invasion. Let's see more with the report of our colleague Bruno Falsi.
In the city of Rio Caribe, in the state of Sucre, fishermen mobilized and went to the enlistment center in a show of unity to defend the sovereignty of their country, threatened by the new invasion from the United States.
The fishermen are deploying to provide strong support to the guidance of our commander, President Nicolás Maduro, in light of the actions taken by the North American government against our homeland, which has decided to put a price on the head of our president. We are here to defend our homeland.
Aquí estamos en defensa a nuestro pueblo.
Here we are in defense of our people, supporting our president Nicolás Maduro. We fishermen are answering the call of our president to defend our country.
Fishermen arrived from all regions in fishing boats and organized a water protest in solidarity with President Nicolás Maduro, demonstrating the strength of people power.
We responded to the call of President Nicolás Maduro because we felt attacked and aggrieved. We fishermen are here, and all we want is to continue working and advancing the development of this country. We see all well. We have coastal vigilantes here, and we don't want any intruders from another country to come here to Venezuela. We don't want anything to do with gringos. We want to work in peace because we are Venezuela, and Venezuela is free.
Organized fishing youth also came out to enlist in defense of their participatory democracy, which they had so arduously won.
Today we are here as youth fishing. We are in the activity enrolling all fishermen in the militia as we are guided by our president Nicolás Maduro, guidance from which we reject as young people all these sanctions by this North American empire, saying that here is a loyal conscious community. Venezuela is a place of peace, and we are willing to continue defending our country as necessary.
A resounding response from the Venezuelan people to the USA, as people massively attended various enlistment points throughout the country in a demonstration of national unity to defend their revolution. In the camera of Jorman Medina, Bruno Falsi, Caracas, Venezuela, for teleSUR.
In our news, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley announced plans to establish an Institute for Democracy and Governance in the Caribbean following the declaration of Latin America and the Caribbean as a zone of peace. The statement was made in the context of a new U.S. interference with its military and naval presence in the Caribbean Sea. In a message published in the social media, ex-Prime Minister Mia Mottley says that regional leaders must ensure that the Caribbean remains a zone of peace, and has announced plans to establish a Caribbean Institute for Democracy and Political Governance at the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus. And now we have a short break. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
What is happening in China? Everything you want to know about current affairs, politics, economy, culture.
Welcome back. In other news, in Ecuador, the Navy and police seized 10.3 tons of drugs and arrested 18 people during several operations carried out over the last 20 days on the high seas. The drugs and the detainees, all of Ecuador nationality, arrived this Sunday at the port of the coastal city of Manta and were handed over to police for processing. The seizure and arrests were made in 7 operations carried out between August 2nd and the 22nd. According to information from the armed forces, the Ministry of the Interior, for its part, assured that 6 boats used to transport the packages containing the drug blocks were destroyed in these operations.
The Ecuadorian Navy, through the United States Coast Guard and in compliance with operational procedures, detained 7 vessels between August 2 and August 22, with a total of 18 detainees, one of whom was disembarked in Panama due to health conditions.
The United States government is threatening to increase its military presence in cities led by Democrats. President Donald Trump threatened Baltimore following a dispute with Maryland's Democrat Governor Wes Moore. Moore had criticized Trump's unprecedented use of federal power to combat crime and homelessness in Washington. Furthermore, Governor Moore emphasized that his state's crime-related measures, as well as Trump's federal cuts, have impacted Maryland. Following Trump's threat, Illinois Governor Jay Robert warned that Trump's goal is to incite fear in communities and destabilize public safety measures to justify further abuse of power. And in the United States as well, citizens rallied to protest against heavy police presence on the streets of Washington, D.C. Citizens expressed their rejection of President Donald Trump's decision to deploy federal police and the National Guard. A recent survey conducted by George Mason University in Virginia found that approximately 8 out of 10 residents of the U.S. Capitol opposed these actions. Witnesses report the presence of armed federal agents during police raids without the required court order. And more than 30 million people in the western United States are on alert due to a persistent and suffocating heat wave. Warnings have been issued for much of California, Oregon, Washington, and the Southwest Desert, where temperatures have approached record highs. According to the National Weather Service, temperatures in Phoenix and Tucson could reach 43 degrees Celsius, creating dangerous heat conditions. The affected areas are expected to start cooling down on Tuesday, although firefighters, tanker trucks, helicopters, and other resources will remain on alert in case of emergencies. And wildfires continue in the United States, with the wine regions of California and Central Oregon being the most affected areas. During the night, a considerable increase in the flames was reported, forcing hundreds of people to evacuate their homes. In Napa, California, the Picket Fire has destroyed more than 26 square kilometers, and so far only 11% of it has been contained. Other communities in Northern California and Central Oregon are also at risk, with the Flat Fire near Sisters, Oregon. Due to the emergency, more than 1,200 firefighters backed by helicopters and excavators continue to fight to control the flames. And in Spain, firefighters continue to battle blazes in the regions of Castilla and León due to high temperatures. The heat wave that has been sweeping the country since the beginning of August is hitting cities like Oporto and Egina, with temperatures going over 4 degrees Celsius. The Spanish Civil Protection Agency reported that at least 15 forest fires remain active. Most of these have been contained, although the situation still requires additional efforts. According to data from the European Forest Fire Information System, the fires burned more than 403,000 hectares on the Iberian Peninsula in Spain alone, and more than 278,000 in Portugal. In Pakistan, more than 3,000 people were evacuated due to flood risks from monsoon rains hitting Punjab province. A spokesperson for the emergency services said that since August 23rd, evacuations are underway while extensive areas of farmland remain flooded. The National Disaster Management Authority added that these latest floods are the result of the monsoon rainy season. Since July, the death toll has risen to more than 800 people throughout the country. Meanwhile, national meteorological agencies warn that heavy rainfall will continue until mid-September, increasing the likelihood of a humanitarian catastrophe. And in China, strong winds and torrential rains were reported as Typhoon Kajiki made landfall across Hainan Island and the nearby regions of Guangdong province, leading to the evacuation of thousands of residents. Authorities reported that approximately 20,000 people were evacuated from areas considered at high risk, while more than 21,000 fishing boat crew members returned to land. According to reports from China's National Meteorological Center, Kajiki gained strength as it moved westward over the sea. Authorities in coastal provinces prohibited boats from setting sail and ordered the closure of businesses and tourist areas. And in Vietnam, on the occasion of the 80th anniversary of National Day, Dong Nai Province plans to hold a ceremony to launch the project to build the province's political and administrative center on the foundations of the Bien Hoa 1 Industrial Park. Founded in the 1960s, Bien Hoa 1 Industrial Park has been the cradle of Vietnamese industry for the past 60 years. However, due to significant deficiencies, the province of Dong Nai decided to relocate all factories and production facilities and convert the Bien Hoa 1 Industrial Park into an urban commercial and services area. Numerous investors expressed their support for the provincial policy of reconverting the function of the Bien Hoa 1 Industrial Park. We now have our second break. Before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English, there you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Have a short break, don't go away. Welcome back. An Israeli attack on Nasser hospital in southern Gaza Strip killed 5 journalists while they were broadcasting live, bringing the number of media workers killed by Israel to 245. The attack occurred while journalists were covering a press conference near the hospital. The victims were identified as Hossam al-Masri, photographer for the Reuters agency, Mohamed Salameh, photographer for Al Jazeera, Muaz Abu Taha, journalist for the U.S. network NBC, Ahmad Abu Aziz, journalist with Quds Feed Network, and Mariam Abu Daka, media contributor for Independent Arabia and the Associated Press. According to the statement, the attack, which caused death and injuries, including emergency personnel, was part of the Israeli regime campaign to silence journalistic coverage and therefore hide their crimes.
الطابق الأخير من الزملاء الصحفيين والمصورين الصحفيين الطبي بالطائرات.
In Palestine, 10 prisoners were taken to the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital after being released by the Israeli occupation forces. Health authorities said the prisoners are in poor health with clear signs of abuse. All 10 were released from the State Timan prison and handed over to the International Committee of the Red Cross. The action coincides with the United Nations denunciation of systemic starvation affecting more than 500,000 people in the Palestinian enclave. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East Director Philip Lazzarini urges Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to stop denying the hunger and to allow humanitarian aid to enter the Gaza Strip. The United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees warned also that approximately 97% of educational centers in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed by Israeli bombings. The United Nations Agency reported that 9 out of 10 schools, including those run by UNRWA, need complete reconstruction and renovation. This figure equals a catastrophic 97% of the education infrastructure. The agency also reported that restrictions imposed by Israeli authorities continue to limit the entry of educational supplies in Gaza and negatively affect the volume and quality of aid provided. It should be noted that Israel's actions are evidence of its policy of systemic destruction. And thousands of people protested in Denmark to demand an end to the aggression and recognition of the Palestinian state by the Danish government. The march, which attracted a large crowd, was held peacefully, reflecting the growing movement of solidarity with the Palestinian people across Europe. The demonstration was attended by over 100 social and trade union organizations, political parties, and groups of artists and activists. The event was supervised by the police, and those present reaffirmed their commitment to non-violence and lasting peace in the Gaza Strip. In other news, Iranian Foreign Minister Said Abbas Araghchi and his Egyptian counterpart Bad Abdelati met in Saudi Arabia and exchanged views ahead of the start of the meeting of foreign ministers of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in Jeddah. At the meeting, the two ministers discussed recent bilateral, regional, and international developments, particularly the critical humanitarian situation in Gaza due to the ongoing siege against the enclave. Both foreign ministers emphasized the need for immediate and effective action by Islamic countries to stop the genocide and facilitate the entry of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. The Russian government confirmed a new exchange of war prisoners with Ukraine. The humanitarian agreement brokered by the United Arab Emirates allowed the return of 146 Russian soldiers in exchange for the release of 146 Ukrainian prisoners of war. According to the official statement, the recently repatriated Russian soldiers are currently in Belarus, where they are receiving the necessary medical and psychological care. In addition to the military personnel, the Russian Ministry of Defense confirmed the return of 8 citizens from the Kursk region who had been illegally detained by Kiev. Latin America is known, among many other reasons, for the archaeological treasures left by the ancient civilizations, and Colombia guards one of the greatest mysteries of the pre-Columbian societies, which is located in the municipality of San Agustin, in the department of Huila.
The Archaeological Park of San Agustin is located in the municipality of San Agustin in the department of Huila, along with the Alto de las Piedras and Alto de los Ídolos, and since 1995, it is part of the World Heritage Site of Humanity declared by UNESCO. This archaeological site is one of the most emblematic mysteries of the pre-Columbian civilizations of the region, and its cultural and natural richness is embellished with the proximity of canyon landscapes carved in volcanic rock and lush vegetation. The culture of San Agustin dates back to the 33rd century before the Common Era and stands as one of the three oldest cultures in South America, next to Caral and Chavin in Peru. The park is part of the Colombian Massif and is famous for its sculptures and monolites, many of which were rediscovered throughout the 18th century thanks to the researches of national and international archaeologists. Since 1935, the Colombian Institute of Anthropology and History has carried out research, conservation, and dissemination works that have allowed a better understanding of these funeral homes, rites, and beliefs. It has been open to the public since 1944 and is a large necropolis that leads tours that allow you to appreciate funeral structures and the surrounding environment. Among its attractions are the Museum House Luis Duque Gómez, dedicated to the Colombian archaeologists and which harbors a varied collection of objects, and the Forest Statues, an area with stone sculptures in different states of elaborations that offers a direct vision of the lithic art of the region. This destination stands out as a unique experience to understand the ancestral and spiritual heritage of the Colombian Massif and the Huila, integrating archaeology, worldview, lithic art, ceramics, silverwork, and rituality in a landscape of history, nature, and culture.
With this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For Telesur English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.